Hello there everyone, my name is Crazy Caleb and welcome to Cyan Arrows. This is the way the module looks. As you can tell, it is an arrow variant, and guess what? The arrows are cyan, believe it or not. But there also is one other thing too. The display screen has a middle play button in the middle of it. That's going to be the way that you're going to notice that. And if your buttons are not cyan or there is no play image in the display screen, you are looking at a different module, obviously. Now, this arrow variant is actually a little bit tricky. It's not too hard to understand once you understand it. It actually becomes quite simple. But what we have to do here is the arrows represent the compass of the car that you are driving. And due to an unexplained, unfortunate circumstance, the automatically driving car has gone haywire. The car will attempt to annihilate itself if given the chance, and this is bad news since you are currently trapped inside of it. And luckily, the car is not able to automatically start at the moment. And to prevent accidents from happening, you must magically place walls where the car will drive itself, so that the car has no chance of annihilating itself. So essentially, what's going to happen here is there's going to be a series of different arrow flashes, and what we're going to try and do is we're going to try and recreate this path so that it can go safely along it. But there is one little catch that we need to pay attention to. The compass has been compromised, so that it reveals the path of a car if it ever automatically starts without the input of a driver. When you press the triangle button on the middle part of the compass reveals 20, technically 21, but the endpoint of the compass is a dead end, different directions, and the starting direction and some path numbers will blink. The way how this works is essentially the blinking lights indicate the true north for the subsequent paths that will follow, excluding the dead end. And the path after seeing it will be the starting path. So we'll get into all this into a moment, but essentially what's going to happen here is that there's going to be a series of blinking lights once we hit the play button, and the number will continue to increase every move, essentially. So let's get into this. Let's actually give ourselves a perspective of what happens when we play the play button first, before we get into actually explaining how all this stuff works. Okay, so what you just saw there was you saw a bunch of flashing arrows. Now, each of these flashing arrows represent different things. The ones that flash black at the end of it, as you saw by there, that represents the dead end at the end. So that if all of them flash back, that means that you are done with it. You are done with the sequence. But there are a couple things that we need to point out. Number one, there were a couple arrows that were blinking several times that made a different sound than the other ones do. This indicates the true north for the subsequent paths. This is what you're going to be using later on. And what's going to happen here is the direction after the blinking light are the paths that the car will follow. Adjust the direction so that the north of the compass corresponds to the true north of the current path. So essentially what's going to happen here is that we're going to get them in the normal orientation, in this case, up, right, down, and left. We are not going to adjust these arrows until after we get our entire arrow sequence, and we're going to be adjusting them from the normal north to the true north of the compass. So essentially what's going to happen here is if we take a look, let's just focus on one individual sequence. Left, up, left. So I'll wait till the sequence is done. Okay, so in this first little bit right here, you saw left, up, and left before another arrow sequence, before another one blinked a couple times. What this essentially represents is the beginning pit represents the true north of the current path the car will follow. Now, what we want to do is we want to use the left, up, left, which was indeed left, up, and left on the actual arrow buttons. Now what we want to do is we want to change this from the true north direction, and we want to rotate it to the direction that is the true north of the current path the car will travel on. So in this case, we're going to be rotating everything one counterclockwise. So left will become down, up will become left, and left will become down. And this is going to be the path that you're going to have to recreate. So this is the way that this module is going to work. Now what we want to do is we want to get the entire sequence. I'm going to get all of the flashes first, and all of the little breaks in between. I'm going to represent them by spaces, and then I'm going to put a line in between each of them afterwards. And then I'm going to get the true paths, so the true north of the current path the car will follow. So let's take a look at this. Down, or left, down, left. Then we have down, right, down. Right. Up, right, right, down. right, down, right. Okay. Now these were all of the arrows that flashed normally. These are the normal right, down, right, as you saw in that previous statement. Now what we want to do is we want to adjust them to their true norths based off of those little multiple flashes of things. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to get all of these sequences together here. So let's do. Let's make sure that these guys are separated apart from each other with these lines. These lines are important. You'll understand in just a moment. And let's get one more from the end there because obviously that dead end doesn't need count. And now what we're going to do is we're going to get the directions, the true north directions for each of these sequences here. So let's do this. That was our first one. Down. Left. Down. Left. Okay. Rather quite an irritating one, but let's focus on this. So now, what we have here is we have a series of different flashes. We have a series of different starting points. This is going to be the way that this works. Remember, we've already adjusted the first one, so all we simply need to do is we now need to adjust the second ones here. Remember, we're going from north to this true north, which in this case is represented by down, left, for each of the respective groups that we have remaining. So, in order for it to go from north to down over to the true north, we're essentially going to flip everything twice. So we're going to do 1, 2 rotations. So down is going to go 1, 2, up, 2, up. Same thing goes for that down as well. And right goes 1, 2, and that's going to go to left in this case. That is going to be the way that things work. Now we're going to do the same thing with left. We're now going to rotate right 1 counterclockwise because from up to left, this means that it's going to go 1 counterclockwise. So the two rights are going to become ups. Now our new orientation is going to be down. We're going to do the exact same thing we did beforehand. Flipping everything essentially is the way that I like to describe this. We got down, we have up, then we have the two lefts in the middle. And then finally with left, we have right going counterclockwise once to up, and then the down going counterclockwise once to right. This is essentially what we're going to be doing here. And I'm sorry if this isn't making sense the way that it is meant to be explained, but we need to adjust the direction so that the north of the compass corresponds to the true north of the current path that the car will travel on. It's very important that you do this. It's not getting the true north and then adjusting it to normal north. It's getting the north and then adjusting it to the true north. Hope that makes sense. So now, if the path number blinks, including the dead end, it means that you've reached the end of the path you're on. In this case, that was the all of the arrows flashing cyan and black 4 times. So, after traveling to this path number, the car will be teleported, another unexplained event, to another pathway where it adjusts to a new pathway. So, essentially, the dead end is going to be represented by the bum, 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 bum. So, this is the dead end. This is a dead end. This is a dead end. This is a dead end. Dead end. And then the dead end of the entire module, the dead end of the entire thing. So the way that this works is the reason why these are separated is because these represent dead ends. This new change in orientation is the dead end, and it will magically teleport to another sequence. That's the way that this works. Now, in order to get the submission part going, if you hold the triangle on the middle part of the compass for at least 2.5 seconds, the entire compass will blink, and releasing the triangle when this happens will allow you to magically set up walls. You need to prevent the car from sending itself into the abyss or forcefully ramming itself into a wall. And on each path number, put the appropriate walls so that no accidents can occur. Click on the directions of the compass to put a wall in that direction. And click on the path number to proceed to the next path. There can be obviously more than one wall present, so keep that in mind. So now, this little image below provides you an example. So the flashes were, in this example, down, left, and left. This is a normal down, left. This is a normal down, left, left in this case. And as you can see, the image provides you a down, left, left here, and it gets you into that dead end where the next sequence will be. So, what this does is, what this little left represents here is this represents the orientation of the true north that it gave you. So in this case, it was flashing bump, 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 down, left, left. Now what we needed to do was we needed to adjust from normal north to the true north that is on the left. So in this case, the down went counterclockwise to right, which indeed it does on the second image here, and then the lefts went counterclockwise to down. And in this case, that is the exact path that they do indeed follow. So that is going to be what we're looking at here. So now what we need to do is we need to take a look at what we need to actually submit here. And at the start of the path, you must put the walls in each direction except for where the car will travel towards. At the end of the path, you must put the walls in the direction except for where the car will arrive. And in the middle of the path, you must put the walls in each direction except for where the car will arrive and travel toward. So, let's get this thing started. And as you can see now, we're now enter into this mission mode. So, our first direction, because it is technically the start of the path here, we need to go down. So now what we're going to do is we're going to set up the pathway, we're going to set the walls, and they can be toggled on and off until you hit the number again. We're going to toggle these, and we need to go to the direction down. You must put walls in each direction except for where the car will travel towards. Okay. We're going to be traveling down, so therefore we're only going to leave, we're going to put walls on everywhere except down. Okay, now let's do the next direction. So now, we need to travel left. This is in the middle of the path, and we're going to put walls in each direction except for where the car will arrive and travel towards. So we're coming from down, which in this case, in this position, is coming from up. And we need to travel left. So in this case, we want to make sure that we have this spot open here too. And if we were to put walls here and here, this would develop the corner that we need to do because we come from this position up, and we are going to the left. It's coming down, and then we're going left. Now we're going to hit the next number. And now we need to head down. We're coming from the left, so in this case we're coming over from the right side, and then we're going to be heading down. So these two walls need to be here. And then finally, this is going to be the end of the path. This is the reason why I include these little lines here, just to help me remember that this is the end of the path, and we're going to be heading over to the next one. So at the end of the path, you must put the walls in each direction except for the direction where the car will arrive. So we're going down, and in this case that means we're coming from up. So we're in the fourth path here. So in this case, we're coming up. We're coming from the up direction, and we're moving down into the middle here. These are going to be our three walls, and this is going to be our dead end. Now we're going to go over to the next sequence, and this is going to be our next path right here. So we're going to be going up here, starting from normal here. So we're going to be going up. We need to go left, so we're coming from here. We need to go to the left. There we go, makes sense. Then we need to go up, so we're coming from the right here. We're going up. And then finally, we reach another dead end. We're coming from the up direction, so we're coming from down. We're going down, going up. These are going to be our three walls here. Okay, next sequence. So next up, we're going to have to go up twice. So let's go up twice. So we're going to be going up for our first position. We need to go up again. We do not want to go left and right. We came from the down position. We're heading up, and that's going to be the end of this sequence. So we're going to go left, up, right, because we're coming from down, and this is meant to be a dead end. Next up, we're coming from down here. We're coming at this bit of the sequence right here. So we're going to be going down. This is the beginning of the path here. So we're going to be going down this path right here. Next up, we're going to be going left. We're coming down to this position, and then we're going to go left. So we're going to do these two walls right here. Then we're going to be going left from the right position. Two walls up here. Coming from the right, going left, and we're going left over to the left position. And now we're going to head up. So we're now going to head up. We're coming from the right, and we're going to head up. There we go. And now we're at a dead end once more. We're coming from the up position, so we're coming from down below here, going up. There we go. Next up, we have our final path rather. And now we're going to go up right. So we're going to go two up rather. We're going to go from this position. We came from up. We're now going to go right. We're going to go up here. We came from right, so right and up. Right and up. And finally, we're going to end on up. We came from the up position at the end of the path here, so we're going to put everything. Except the direction in which we came from. And now we're going to hit the 20, and the car will attempt to drive itself. And the jukebox will also run for some reason. And if the car travels to the end without any accidents, the car will break down and stop moving. Consider yourself safe. If the car finds a way to annihilate itself, it will do that immediately. Your life is over, and due to strange circumstances, if this ever happens, the universe resets and you are resurrected. Note that if you happen to strike on this case, it will reset the entire thing, by the way, which is really unfortunate. Now we're going to be recreating our path here, and this is going to be essentially us following along with it. So far, so good. Looking quite promising. Up, right, up, dead end. As you can hear, the car starts breaking down. And just like that is a solved module. A bit of a weird module to learn at first. Hopefully this makes sense, and hopefully you guys were able to visualize this. I'm sorry I didn't really want to have to recreate the entire maze like he did in this example, like Big Crunch did in this example here. But that's going to be the way that this works. It's a fairly simple module to do. Just remember that you're going to get the arrows that flash normally from the north direction, so in this case up, left, right, and down are what they are, but then you're going to adjust and rotate those flashes to the true north. Keep that in mind. That's going to be what's happening here. So let's take a look at one more example, and then we will be good to go. And hopefully, if you guys have any questions, please use the comment section, and I will absolutely try my best to answer them if I can. So let's get this going. Let's get all the flashes first. So left, down, down, right, up, left, down, right, right, up, down, left, up. Okay. These are going to be each of our individual breaks. Now let's figure out our true directions here. Our true norths, rather. Mark all of these as our dead ends and breaks. So that should be 20. Yes, it is. Column 21 makes sense. Now let's get our true norths here. Left. Down. Left. Up. Left. Okay, that's the end of it. Now, one nice thing, if you happen to get up in this case, the up simply does not need to be adjusted at all. So that's going to be just essentially like you don't have to do any work, basically, because the orientation is the exact same as north. True north is north. So let's take a look and let's see what we need to adjust. So we need to go to the left on this first one here. So we're going to rotate everything one counterclockwise. Left goes to down, and then down, down. Wait, hold on. This is almost the exact same thing that we just had here. It's the exact opposite of this. And then we have left, or down goes to right, down to right. Okay, sorry about that. Then next up we have down for the second orientation, the second path here. That's going to just essentially flip them. So right becomes left, up becomes down. Fairly simple to do. Then we have left once again, rotating one counterclockwise. Left becomes down, down becomes right, right becomes up. Up stays the exact same, so right up is exactly what you think it is. And then finally left again, we have down, left, which we happen to actually have down, left in this actual sequence, but we're also going to be including up. So as you can see, down becomes right, left becomes down, and up becomes left. That's going to be the way that this works. So now, let's get into this mission part of this. Hold it for 2.5 seconds. Okay, now let's take a look here. So we need to do this as we normally did beforehand. Start of the path, obviously put the directions in for where the car will go, except for where the car will travel towards. So in this case, it's going down. Okay, middle of the path, it's coming from the up position because it's going down, and then we need to go to the right here, so these directions. And then we're coming from the left, going to the right. We need to go right. Up and down are going to be our walls here. And then that was the last right. This case is now going to be the dead end. We're coming from the left to the right. Walls are going to be right here. Okay, next path. We're going to the left. We're going to be going down from this position. So we came from the left. We're coming left. We're coming from the right to the left. We're going to go down. Walls are going to be right here. And then we're coming from the up position. We're going to go down. Dead end here. Next up, we're going to be going down for the first position. We're going to be going down again. We're going to be going right. Oh, that's not what I meant to do. We're going to be going right. And then we're going to be going up. And then we're going to be ending here. Then finally, next up, we're going to be going right. We're going to be going up. And we're going to be ending here. Then we're going to be going right. Then we're going to be going down. Then we're going to be going down. Then we're going to be going left. And then we're going to end on left. Hopefully you guys are able to visualize that. Hopefully that makes sense. It's quite simple to do once you understand how the actual pathing system works. And you really get used to it because it's a lot of rinsing and repeating. It's a lot of stuff that you probably have similar examples from before. So it's very simple to do. R breaks down. And just like that is a solved module. As always, thank you guys for watching. Remember to stay crazy, stay cool, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.